Hello and welcome to Funbox's top 10 indie games that you may have missed. Today we're counting down our favorite indie games that you can find on Steam. So sit back, relax, and take it all in. At number 10 is BROFORCE. You can tell what kind of game it is based on that awesome name alone. BROFORCE is a parody of the action hero tropes, featuring less than subtle representations of Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee, and Rambo. It's simple, chaotic fun, and it's even better with friends. There isn't much of a story here, but if you're looking for a few laughs, guitar riffs, and tons of bloodshed, BROFORCE packs quite a punch. Just don't forget to high-five your friends periodically. In at number 9 is TORMENT, Tides of NUMENERA. A spiritual sequel to 1999's Planescape Torment, Tides of NUMENERA is a story-driven RPG, beautifully rendered in a 2.5D perspective. It was a Kickstarter success, with over $4 million pledged. If you enjoyed old-school RPGs, with a heavy emphasis on rich backgrounds and characters, then look no further. But if you're looking for another Diablo, you might want to skip due to the massive amounts of text. Combat is easy and simplified, so if you don't mind reading and are looking for a break from the chaos of today's games, then give this one a shot. At number 8, Hyperlight Drifter. Another Kickstarter success. Hyperlight Drifter is a 2D action role-playing game, similar to the Zelda series. It harkens back to the 8 and 16-bit eras, with more emphasis on combat and exploration than dialogue. Hyperlight Drifter manages to capture that sense of nostalgia. Gameplay is pretty standard stuff, but Hyperlight Drifter shows us that sometimes the simplest things are the best. At number 7 is Hob. Developed by Runic Games, Hob puts you in the shoes of a character with a rock arm. That alone should be enough to sell the game, but of course there are more legit reasons. From the fantastic sound and music, to its incredibly tight and responsive controls, to its large, vibrant world that captures everything we know and love about adventure games. Hob is colorful, liquidy smooth, and is an absolute joy to play. At number 6 is ASTRONEER. ASTRONEER is a charming little title from System Era Software, putting you in the shoes of an intrepid little spaceman. You're tasked with exploring a planet, plundering its resources, and building structures. It's also co-op with up to 4 players, so you can bring your friends with you on your journey. It's a really fun and addictive title, so prepare to lose track of time. At number 5 is Shadow Tactics.
後で見せてもらえんか？
はい。いいですよ。我ながら上出来。
This game is hard, real hard, but there's something strangely addictive about it. Set in feudal Japan, the game lets you control a number of interesting characters, each with their own sets of skills. Gameplay is stealth oriented, although you could probably rampage your way through like we did. Hiding in bushes, houses, rooftops, and rivers will become second nature. So will dying. Did I mention this game is hard? There are some cool elements in the game, such as the synchronized moves, like in Rainbow Six, and although the difficulty can be intimidating, the game presents you with so many paths and opportunities to complete the mission that restarting never seems like a chore. Oh, and it's in Japanese with English subtitles, so that's a big plus. At number 4 is NUMENERA. A very cool cyberpunk top-down shooter, NUMENERA gets straight to the action. The combat is sharp and responsive, visuals are gritty, and the music is what you'd expect from an 80s inspired cyberpunk game. 2 words, deep trance. You're presented with a number of abilities throughout the game, with light RPG elements here and there. The game is also frustratingly difficult, as enemies will often swarm you and beat you to death. The visual style and our hero's cool LED masks are neat touches. Now if only you could put your face on it. At number 3 is Ori and the Blind Forest. Easily one of the most visually stunning games we've ever seen, Ori sets new standards for what side-scrollers could be. With simple yet intuitive controls, well-designed levels, and a beautiful hand-drawn art style, Ori and the Blind Forest is, in our humble opinion, the perfect platformer of this generation. Simple enough for casual gamers, yet challenging for the hardcore, so less talk, more looking. At number 2, Pillars of Eternity.
Let's check by those outcroppings.
You can draw a lot of similarities to Tides of Numenera. Both are old school RPGs, and both are Kickstarter successes. That's where it ends. Where Tides was a story-driven RPG, Pillars of Eternity balances the two, and adds permadeath to the mix.
Tiles look suspicious.
The real-time combat is unforgiving, and death is permanent for members of your party. Each random encounter could be your last, and you'll find yourself pausing constantly.
What you need?
Pillars of Eternity is a fantastic throwback to the days when games didn't hold your hand, with deep gameplay that required your utmost attention, both in and out of combat.
Sure.
And our number one pick is Dead Cells. This game is an absolute gem. It's everything you'd want in a roguelike action adventure. Levels are procedurally generated, enemies are interesting, combat is constantly fun, and death is part of the game. Dying in Dead Cells takes you back to the beginning of the level, and you lose not only your currency, but your upgrades and gear as well. There are tons of weapons to be discovered, from swords and daggers to bows and grenades, and our personal favorite, the exploding crossbow. The enemies are challenging, and the boss fights are rewarding. So plug in a controller, and you'll find yourself spending hours grinding and dying in our number one pick. What's your favorite indie game? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and don't forget to check out our page for more great content.